In 2007, a global poll asked millions of people to vote for the new 7 wonders of the world. Among the results stood an iconic symbol, not just of Brazil, but of hope, unity, and faith: Christ the Redeemer. Think about it. In a world filled with steel skyscrapers and neon lights, it's a 98-foot-tall statue, arms stretched wide, that continues to capture the imagination of travelers, filmmakers, and believers across the globe. Even for Americans, who live in the land of monumental landmarks like the Statue of Liberty and Mount Rushmore, there's something uniquely moving about Christ the Redeemer. So, what makes this statue so powerful, so unforgettable? Let's explore the story behind one of the most recognized monuments in human history. It all began in the early 1920s. Brazil was going through a time of social transformation, and the Catholic Church feared the country was losing its religious roots. To mark 100 years of independence and reaffirm its faith, a bold idea emerged: build a massive statue of Jesus Christ atop Mount Corcovado in Rio de Janeiro. But this wasn't a project born overnight. It took years of planning, fundraising, and fierce debates. Some questioned whether it was even possible to build something of that scale on a 2,300-foot-high granite peak. Yet, the vision moved forward, and in 1926, construction officially began. Designed by Brazilian engineer Heitor da Silva Costa, with the face sculpted by French artist Paul Landowski, the statue took 9 years to complete. What's remarkable is how they transported heavy materials up that steep mountain, using railways, mules, and pure human effort. There were no drones, no helicopters, no 3D modeling. In 1931, Christ the Redeemer was finally unveiled. With arms open wide, spanning 92 feet, it wasn't just a religious symbol anymore. It became a national icon. Americans might compare it to the Statue of Liberty, another colossal symbol built not just for aesthetics, but for values. Liberty stands for freedom, Christ the Redeemer, for compassion and peace. Yet unlike liberty, which you can walk inside, Christ the Redeemer has no interior space. The impact comes from its simplicity: concrete covered in thousands of triangular soapstone tiles, each hand-placed. Some of those tiles even contain handwritten messages from workers, silent prayers sealed into history. And here's something most people don't know. The statue is struck by lightning 3 to 5 times a year. In fact, in 2014, a lightning bolt damaged one of the fingers. Repair crews had to fly up the mountain and delicately restore the stonework. But the statue still stands. Rain or shine, it watches over the city, reminding everyone below that they're not alone. Rio is known for its carnival: color, music, celebration. Yet at the peak of the city's wildest energy, the Christ figure stands calm, arms open, without judgment. That contrast is one of the most profound aspects of the statue. It's not about enforcing religion. It's about representing welcome, forgiveness, and universal love. For American travelers, visiting Christ the Redeemer is often a bucket list item. It's been featured in Hollywood films like Fast Five and The Twilight Saga, music videos, and documentaries. Why? Because visually and symbolically, it delivers. From the air, especially when arriving by plane, the statue seems to float above the clouds. Pilots even refer to it as a visual checkpoint when flying over Rio. But perhaps the most powerful part of the experience isn't the photo or the view. It's the feeling. Even non-religious visitors report being moved by the statue's presence. It's as if the height, the silence, the wind, all combine into a quiet reminder of something bigger than ourselves. Some describe it like standing on top of the world, yet feeling completely grounded. Maintaining a statue of this scale isn't easy. Brazil has spent millions over the years restoring cracks, fighting erosion, and installing lightning rods. Every decade or so, a major renovation is required. a reminder that even the most solid icons need care. There's even a chapel inside the base, Nossa Senhora Aparecida, where small weddings and baptisms take place. Imagine saying your vows beneath one of the most famous statues on earth. So what does Christ the Redeemer stand for today? To some, it's a religious pilgrimage. To others, a cultural marvel. And to many, it's simply a reminder that in a divided world, a little compassion, a little forgiveness, and a little openness can go a long way. And maybe that's what makes this statue eternal. Thanks for watching.